Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a college football top 25 ranking. Alright, so, and I'm going to probably do this for like the rest of the weeks, but we'll see. Number 1, Georgia. They won back-to-back national championships. Until they're beaten, I just don't see a way you could put someone on top of them. So, Georgia at number 1. 2, Michigan. J.J. McCarthy had an off week a few weeks ago, but he looked good this week. They also got Jim Harbaugh back after he got suspended, so that's good for them. Number 3, Ohio State. I think they're an underrated team. They beat a really good Notre Dame team. And Kyle McCord, people are saying isn't that good, but he looks pretty good to me. Number 4, Texas. They've really dominated everyone they've played. Even Alabama, they won pretty easily. Then, let's see who I have next. 5, I have Florida State. So, Florida State, they didn't look that good against Clemson, but Clemson honestly just looks really good in that game. But I think they're not as good as they looked, especially since they barely beat Boston College a few weeks ago. So I think 5 is a good ranking. And 6, I have Penn State. They played a ranked team. Iowa is a pretty good team. They shut them down, 31-0. So, Penn State at 6. 7, USC. They've looked really good. Caleb Williams, it looks like he's going to win the Heisman again. He's just by far the best player in college football. But the reason I put Penn State over them is USC did not win by too much against Arizona State. Their defense is their problem. If USC could get their defense together, then they'll be really good. 8, Oregon. They just absolutely demolished Colorado. They've won every game they've played by 50 points. Their offense is insanely good. They're scoring 60 points every game. They have had pretty easy of a schedule, but Colorado's a pretty good team this year. I don't think they're that good, but they're still a pretty good team, and they destroyed them. Then number 9, Utah. Even without Cam Rising, they're still looking really good. They beat a pretty good UCLA team. Utah's defense looked insanely good. They had a defensive touchdown, and they only allowed 7 points against a formerly ranked team, so it's good. And number 10, Washington. Michael Penix has just been insanely good. They're just really dominating every team they play. Another team that has a cakewalk of a schedule, but they had scored 45 points against a team in the Pac-12, so team in their own conference. They had scored 45 points at halftime, so they're really good. Number 11, Notre Dame. Although they lost, I think they're really good. They've looked really good the first few weeks. Their defense stopped Ohio State from scoring 20 points for the first time in 77 games, something like that, since Ohio State scored less than 20 points. And Sam Hartman has just looked really good. Audric Estime, also one of the best running backs in all of college football. So they're looking pretty good. 12, Washington State. I at first thought they were kind of overrated, but they've had 2 pretty good wins. They beat Wisconsin pretty easily a few weeks ago, who was a pretty good team. And then they again beat a really good team in Oregon State. So, and pretty comfortably. And then number 13, I have Alabama. I just think even though Alabama is not getting that much hype this year, but I think with Jalen Milroe, they're really good. The issue against South Florida was just they had their 3rd-string quarterback in. But with Jalen Milroe, they look like a pretty good team. They beat a good Ole Miss team. So, yeah. Number 14, I have LSU. They're not looking that good. They got blown up by Florida State, and then they barely beat Arkansas. Although Jaden Daniels, their quarterback, has looked insanely good this year. He might, if they go on to win the rest of their games and win the SEC, I think he might win the Heisman. So he is a very good player. At 15, I have Oklahoma. Their first 3 games, they really dominated. They had some trouble against Cincinnati, but they still won the game pretty comfortably. And Cincinnati, they're not that bad, so I think 15 is a good spot for them. At 16, I have North Carolina. Drake May, again, looks really good. They've beaten some pretty good teams, like they've beaten Minnesota, and they haven't really had another team with a pretty easy schedule, but in the ACC, I think they have a chance to get to the New Year's Six Bowl, maybe even the ACC championship. I don't think they have any chance of winning, but they could be a dark horse in the ACC. Number 17, I have Duke. They crushed Clemson. They also played Northwestern a few weeks ago, who sucks, but like still a Power 5 team. So they look pretty good. Riley Leonard, the quarterback, has like been really impressive. And then at 18, I have Syracuse. They're undefeated. They seem like they always start the year good. Last year they started like 5-0, 6-0, something like that, and they're 4-0 right now. They beat Army this past weekend, the weekend before they beat Purdue, and they just really won every game pretty comfortably. So, and they're undefeated. So, if you're undefeated, like you should be in the rankings. At number 19, I have Tulane. I think they're a really good team. They lost to Ole Miss, who's a pretty good team, barely a few weeks ago. That's their only loss. But Michael Pratt wasn't even playing that game, and he's by far their best player. With Michael Pratt healthy, Tulane, I think they have a chance to finish the rest of the season undefeated and win the AAC championship. At 20, I have Miami. They've looked pretty good. They beat Texas A&M, who's looking pretty good. They just in general, they're still undefeated, and they just look pretty good. At 21, I have Kansas State. Although they lost already this year, they barely lost to a good Missouri team. They also won the Big 12 last year, so with that shows that I think they have a chance to win. They're just a good team. At 22, I have TCU. They're 3-1. Their one loss is to Colorado, who's looking pretty good, and barely. And other than that, I think they really look like they could play good again. They're nothing even close to where they were last year, but I think they have a chance to win like 8 or 9 games this year. Alright. At 23, I have Oregon State. Although they lost to Washington State, they only lost by a little bit, and Washington State, I have them at number 12, and without DJ Uiagalelei last year, Oregon State was still really good, and with him like a huge upgrade at quarterback, I think they're a really good team. At 24, I have Kentucky. With like Devin Leary, like people were concerned that they wouldn't have a good quarterback this year, but since Devin Leary transferred, they look pretty good. They really dominated everyone they've played. They're 4-0 and they're looking pretty good. Alright, and then 25, I have Missouri. They're still undefeated. They beat Kansas State, who's a really good team, so they're looking pretty good. They might have a chance to make it to the SEC championship. Maybe, I don't think they will, but they certainly could hang in there. Bye.